stream is up. Hello, and welcome to Adventure on so many levels. We're gonna play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Chooch got excited.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I am Christiana Ellis. I'm the Dungeon Master, and we have our players tonight. Mark Kilfoyle as Alaric, the Dwarf Fighter.
Good evening.
Starla Hutchton as Nirakina Ethu, the Elf Cleric.
Greetings and salutations.
Viv in her avatar form as Amethyst, the Human Druid.
Hey, y'all. I mean, she's just so pretty. Look at her. I can't compete with that. I can't put on enough makeup to look that cute.
And Chooch Schubert as Otterkey, the Tiefling Paladin.
Hello, hello.
So, it's been a couple weeks since the last episode, but it was a big episode. Episode 50. So, some stuff happened. You got to hang out with some soldiers in the tavern and impress them all with your war stories. And then you went and had dinner with the Brigadier General and played a little bit of a game with him in the sense of he was asking a lot of questions and you were trying to be careful about being honest, but maybe not telling him everything. What's his motivation? Seems like you guys were a little bit unsure what he really had in mind. But then, once you turned in for the night, before you were able to get to sleep, a magical door appeared in your room at the inn, and it was Melicanth inside with a magically conjured extra-dimensional mansion that she hurried you inside and told you no more secrets. And she told you essentially the story of how she came to have the stolen moment originally, how she came to use it, and what happened since then. Also essentially revealing that she believed she had to leave Villa Nocta. She believes she's no longer safe there. She's primarily concerned about Queen Solomonia of the Dawn Court, one of the Archfey who she thinks is first and foremost trying to locate this stolen moment for her own uses. But there's also probably lots of other beings that might be interested. And after a long rest there in her mansion, you were preparing to move on in the morning, and you encountered Zora, who apparently, in addition to not having a forgiving nature, has apparently now developed the ability to tear fissures in space with his hand. And he summoned a really powerful demon through a fissure and basically said, I told him you guys had the stolen moment. Peace. And then disappeared. So, with the help of the army, with the Tachmian army, which was stationed nearby, the Brigadier General, you were all able to defeat this powerful demon that had come through. But it was setting fires everywhere. There was lots of destruction, but you were able to defeat it, to vanquish it. And that's where we left off. You're all still kind of standing there in the street. Nira has just a little bit of sort of a coating of ash sort of on her face.
Still coughing. Oh, it's on my tongue. I need a drink.
There's still a fair amount of activity around as the general is ordering his soldiers to start trying to put out some of the fires.
So I feel Amethyst feels like this really crazy surge of like strange power that she's never had before. She looks around and she sees all of the fire and all of the damage, and she channels the element of water, and she transforms into a water elemental.
You guys have seen
fancy.
Amethyst turned into animals before, but this time she turns into a semi-humanoid shape, but of water. It's sort of, you can sort of make out a head shape and some arms, but the legs just kind of merge together into this strange flowing shape made entirely of water.
That's
So
supposed to happen.
And then Amethyst is just going to move from fire to fire and just extinguish it with her wet presence or whatever.
Her wet presence.
Moisture? I don't know.
She's doing
Water attack? What do you call
genuine.
it? I don't have an extinguished
I,
spell.
I think wet presence is canon now.
Well,
Your
shit.
moist magic is magnificent.
I really hate when I don't think before I talk.
But yeah, so basically this liquid watery form that you have, you're able to just move over these fires and they're just extinguished as you pass over them. I would imagine that you definitely feel that happening, Amethyst. Like, you're not taking damage exactly, but you
Okay.
feel the heat as you move over it, and you're not, immune to fire damage.
Right.
But you realize that by sort of willing yourself to withstand the unpleasant heat, you are able to just extinguish the fires by moving over them.
Yay.
Go Lapis.
So Andri is there with you, looking a little anxious and just kind of coming down from sort of the battle adrenaline. You don't see Melican.
I would figure that she would skedaddle.
Didn't get hit, did she?
Do we care?
I think we have to.
All right. So I am going to, I'd seen her float kind of up over that rooftop. I'm going to go that way.
Okay. You start. Are you calling out, or are you just
No,
go? Okay.
I'm not that fussed about it.
You look around, just trying to see where she had been, and you don't find her in the nearby vicinity. But then you hear some shouting from like a couple of blocks over, and you see a soldier run up to where the brigadier general is and says, "A monster has come out of the thing. There's a monster."
Is there a fissure?
Is it purple and glowing?
Yes, there's like a tear in space, and another. It's where the big thing came out, and another thing has just come out. I mean, it's not as big, but I don't know. Like it.
All right, let's go close it, guys.
Does anybody need healing?
I'll be all right.
There's a couple of the soldiers that look kind of roughed up.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need heals.
Alright, I'll dole out some for the soldiers.
All right.
Save it. No, we got
So basically,
got chewed out
there
the
are
corner
enough
for
worst
dinner.
cleric ever.
there are enough soldiers who are moderately injured that you could spend all of your lay on hands if you chose to do so.
Well, yeah, I guess timing sounds like it's of the essence, so actually. Sorry, not sorry. Turn around to take off and
Are you
Save the
joining
day.
them, water elemental Amethyst?
Of course.
All right. So you're all rushing together. Then I will go ahead.
then
and-
once we get out of sight, then I will heal myself for 33 points.
Oh yeah, you were up close and personal with
Yeah.
Yeah.
you took some damage. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to switch us to the map. So you come down the street in the direction where you heard the shouting, and there is a building on fire. Half the roof has kind of crumbled, and you can see the purple fissure in space sort of hovering above it, and perched on the side is this strange, like, vulture gargoyle-like creature that's the size of You're like a gargoyle statue. Like its torso itself might be the same size as you, but with its enormous wings, it just sort of controls a lot more space. And it as it's up there, it's kind of looking around, and as it sees you, and we're going to roll initiative.
Well, at least its intentions seem clear.
19 for me.
And of course it's not on fire. That would be too awesome.
18
Yeah, I'm
for Archie.
Well, the roof of this building is still on fire.
Attack
Fort-
for us.
14 for Amethyst.
Yeah, 13.
How big is it, Christiana?
It's a large creature, which means that it's about the same size as you are. Like its wings sort of expand further out.
But not as big as the
Gotcha.
last one.
No, it's
Okay.
much smaller than that one. That one was like 18 feet tall. This one is like 7 feet tall when it stretches out its big long legs, but then it kind of stands more hunched over.
Wings.
Archie, what was your initiative?
18.
Is the general over this way, or did he stay back?
He had gone off to fetch like another archery unit.
Okay.
You guys are the first to sort of get over here.
All right, guys. So, how are we going to do this without him seeing what we're doing? We got to close that fissure, but
Yeah, so there's none of them like right here at the moment. You know, the ones that were here kind of ran away until they could, regroup.
I got a feeling they're not going to be looking at you.
Yeah.
So,
You
Mira,
say that,
you
but-
are up first.
so who's first?
You are.
Oh, I am. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what this thing can do yet, but okay, well, I guess I will cast Guiding Bolt just to see what happens.
So I'm noticing in the chat some people are saying background noise. I do have tabletop audio going with a Winter Woods track, and it has kind of a wind sound in it. So I don't know if that's what people were hearing, because I wasn't hearing any other background noise.
It's a feature. It's the pink noise generator.
This is
do not know what
a.
this thing does yet, but it did seem to come through the same fissure as that last one. So
All right, so this says 2 hit plus 7, right? So that's I'm rolling a d20, right? And I add 7. That's a lot.
yeah, what are you doing?
Guiding Bolt.
Oh, guiding bolt. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that is a 21.
Okay. Yeah, 21 definitely hits.
All right, so that is 46 radiant damage,
Okay.
and it is sparkly. So that is 10, 14, 20.
Okay. Yes. So your bolt of radiant energy streaks out, slams into this thing, and it's sort of rocked back and snarls, and it's now glitter bombed. Next attack against it has advantage.
All right, go for it.
All right, Archie, you're next.
I am going to cast haste upon myself. And let's see. So I could charge right at him. Do I get another action, the same action I cast? Or it's probably next round.
I think casting it is an action.
Right, but it gives me an extra action.
Yeah, so I think that makes sense, unless it says
So then I would charge at it. Let me double
putting
check.
a little thing on you that you're hasted right now.
Gains an additional action on each turn, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Cool.
Alright.
Because there is a limit on that action. So I'm cast haste on myself, charge towards him, I think within
Okay.
30 feet.
One thing I'll just clarify too is that it's
Mhm.
about 10 feet up off the ground, perching on sort of the roof of this building.
Oh, gotcha.
Is that water?
No, this is like shrubbery.
Oh,
Shrubbery. What
We found the shrubbery.
A path down this side. Okay, so you're charging forward.
So, yeah.
And so you can kind of get up to it, but I mean, like I said, it's 10 feet off the ground.
I'm 5 feet tall, man. I guess I can hit its legs. Do,
War horse.
right? Let me do Misty Step, which is a bonus action.
Mhm.
Teleport 30 feet.
All right. Where are you teleporting to?
Well, I guess to the right. I don't know if I can get to the. It's right about there, down, without falling into the fissure.
Yeah. So you're kind of make an acrobatics check just to keep your feet, but it's because you're sort of on the edge of the crumbling roof there, next to some flames.
This one's a 13.
Yeah, you're fine.
Cool. And
No,
then
it's a little uneven there, but you're good.
So the second action is it can only be the attack action. So I will attack with my sword.
All right.
And I get 2 attacks. Woohoo! And the first is 7, 8, 16.
16 hits.
Oh, sweet. Or
oh, actually,
And it is
that's with
a fiend,
advantage.
so technically you have advantage, yeah.
Well, also the guiding bolt is still up, right?
Right, yeah, so you have advantage a couple of different ways.
ooh, and he rolls
Advantage
8
from the
points.
So did
Oh,
you
8
did
plus
you roll
6.
that 16 again, just in case it might be a crit?
Oh,
Because you have advantage both from
Right,
guiding
right,
bolt
right.
and
Yeah,
your
yeah.
sword gives you advantage
No.
against fiends.
no crits.
Okay. 16 hits and it was 8 damage, you said?
Oh, I forgot my plus 6. 8.
Oh.
So 14 points of damage.
Mhm.
The second attack action is 17 plus a bunch of stuff. 17 plus 8.
Yeah, that hits.
That is another 8. Which does 11 points of damage.
All right.
And
Yeah.
I'm spent.
You get a couple of nice slashes there, and it does not like that at all. Okay. That brings us to Amethyst. You're up. You're muted though.
I was doing that so y'all wouldn't hear me flipping pages around trying to figure out how tall a water elemental is.
So you are also a large creature,
Okay.
and so you can consider yourself. We'll say 8 feet tall.
Okay, so below, even if I get over there, I'm below.
Yeah. So
critter.
I'll say you are big enough that you could melee from the ground.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Well,
roll
let me
that.
start splashing my way over there.
So okay, you have speed of 30 with 5.
30, yeah.
15, 20, 25. Yeah, all right, you can just get there.
Cool. So am I close enough to attack?
I will say yes, because
Yay.
I like your wet presence.
So the elemental makes 2 slam attacks, which is a melee weapon attack with a +7 to hit. So 16. Does 16 hit?
16 hits.
Yay! And the second attack is also 16 in a weird coincidence. So they both hit, and the damage is 2d8 plus 4. So 16 damage.
Okay, and I'm just double checking. I believe that your wild shape makes your bludgeoning attack magical bludgeoning damage.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would have been true. That's true even when you're in animal form, not just elementals. But
Nice.
So, remind me, sorry, how much damage was that?
That was 16.
16. Yeah, you guys are just beating this thing. Like, smacking it around.
Yay.
Doesn't help that it rolled so low on initiative. Alaric, you're up next.
That shrubbery, is that going to be hard for me to get through?
No. I mean, it's difficult terrain, I would say, if you're running through it.
All right. I'm just going to head off east then and run through the shrubbery and start climbing the wall.
All right. Make an athletics check.
I can try one. 14.
14. All right. Yeah, you managed to climb up onto the roof.
Okay. Is that the total of my movement? or
I'll say that was 10 feet of your movement.
10 feet? All
Yeah.
right. So I got a bit more. And there's a bit of fire there. Is the roof, its roof is falling apart though, isn't it?
Yeah, the roof is crumbling around where this circle is.
Yeah. Right.
But it seems relatively stable elsewhere.
I hate to be safe, but I think I'm going to have to. I cast mage armor on myself,
All right.
and I'll move 15 feet closer, so I'm ready.
Staying along kind of by the edge
Yeah,
or getting
right
a
along
little
the
more-
edge. Yep.
All right.
Nope, right along the edge.
Fingers right there? That puts you right there. All
Yeah.
right. So you got some flames there in your face.
Yeah.
All right. Andrew's turn. And she's going to do what she does, which is to fire 2 arrows. That's a crit. And,
Woohoo!
and a regular hit. Cool. So let's... Yeah, so she moved... I'm going to say she moved, like, right here to do that. Wow. She's rolling high with the damage, too.
Well, she is our barbarian after all.
That's 20 damage for the first arrow.
Holy crap!
Well, it's a crit.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. And then 11 damage from the...
Wow.
Yeah, this thing is really bad off. You guys have just, like, decimated it. Like, it... I shouldn't say decimated. The common usage of decimated now is that it's like you've almost made it completely,
Right.
like, completely destroyed, except that that's, like, not what decimated means. Anyway. Christiana's pet peeves. There we go. Yeah, so it's looking really rough, though. You guys have all gotten your attacks off. You all pretty much managed to do damage, except for Alaric, who cast mage armor. But now it is this thing's turn, and you can see first it kind of curls into itself a little bit, and then sort of shivers, and you can see sort of this puff of like cloud of spores or dust of some kind just sort of out around it. And as actually some of it goes through the fire, it makes the fire glow green as this cloud passes through it. And I need Archie and Alaric and Amethyst to make a Constitution saving throw. I think Alaric, you're within Archie's aura.
Then my aura.
Also, if it's poison, I guess advantage.
Yeah, you have advantage, but you also get a bonus from the aura, which is what, +3, Archie?
Yeah, I was just trying to look. I think it was my
It's your charisma modifier, I
my
think.
charisma mod, right? Yeah, so +4.
Ooh.
Ooh. All right, 21 then.
All right, yeah, you're fine.
12 for Amethyst.
Okay.
Just kind of cough and there's crap out of my beard.
18 for Archie.
Okay. Archie and Alaric are fine. Amethyst, you are... I was just going to say, you are poisoned, except guess what? Water elementals are immune to poison. So you're actually fine.
Yay!
Nice.
But this thing is actually going to try to fly away. So it's going to start flying away, and both Archie and Amethyst are going to get opportunity attacks as it's trying to flee.
Yes. I will take that opportunity attack. Well, oh yeah, never mind. Crit.
All right.
Sweet.
Dang! Y'all better go buy some lottery tickets tonight.
I
Down.
know, it's crazy.
So 16 points.
All right. How do you want to do this?
Yes!
Really just to leap up after it.
As it's trying to sort of stumble off
Yeah.
the edge of the building, you're chasing after it. Maybe big cinematic leap.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, I mean, if I could, I think you would, because what I was initially going to do before it leapt away, well, since I can have 2 actions now with my haste, I wanted to slap the fissure
Okay.
with my hand to close it, and at the same time swing up, leap up, and smack it.
All right. Well, so if you're doing the fissure first.
No, actually, no. I guess I could just slash it and then flip back down and
Okay.
slap the fissure closed. Yeah, makes more sense.
The order in this case is going to matter a little bit because you basically slash this thing and it just drops to the ground and actually starts to like flop around on the ground, but then it starts to just shrivel up into, and then it just turns to dust and sort of blows away on the wind. But then as
Careful,
you
that
turn,
stuff doesn't taste good.
as you turn and extend your, is it on your hand? Yeah, it is on your
Yeah,
hand.
yeah,
Right?
mine's palm,
I'm
yeah.
trying to remember where everybody has theirs, but yeah, it's on your hand. You touch it, and as soon as you touch the fissure, make a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, only an 8.
You take 7 psychic damage, and the fissure does not close.
Ooh.
What the heck?
So what happened out of character? What happened to my shard when I turn into a water elemental?
Well, it's just like all of your other gear. It's sort of just magically absorbed into your form.
But I can't hit the fissure with any.
I would say it's the magic that lets you do that is sort of tied to you. So I would say being in your wild shape form does not affect that. That's a DM ruling.
Can I move towards it? Is my opportunity
Yep.
attack still in play, or can I go ahead? And...
Well, your opportunity attack's not in play, but we'll keep you guys in initiative for now. So technically, that was the demon's turn. So it would be Nira's turn next if she wants to try to do something. You just watched Archie reach out to close the fissure, and then just and the fissure's not closed.
I don't think that the magnifying glass is going to work on this. Let me pull up my magic ring of truthiness.
Okay.
I want to take a look at it.
All right. As you do that, there's no illusion in place, so you don't see through that or anything. But you realize by looking through this ring that the purple light is a little bit less intense, and you feel like you can see like flames through it. But you get the sense that it's almost just like with sunglasses, you can sort of see through the light to the other side a little better.
But it doesn't look like a place I want to go. So.
Right.
Well, obviously, I'm not going to touch it.
So
but,
Archie,
yeah.
it would be your turn again in the initiative.
I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna really concentrate and think about it and try it again.
Don't be so casual.
What's the definition of insanity?
As you reach out to do it again, you actually feel a hand on your wrist before your hand gets there, and you hear a Melicanth say, "Wait."
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and take us out of initiative because the time is not a critical thing here right now.
I'll wait.
So yes, you realize that you've heard her, you feel her hand on your arm, but she is apparently invisible. And she says, "In order to seal the fissure, the stolen moment must be on the same plane you are, but currently it is in my extra-dimensional space. I need to expose it for you to seal the fissure."
Oh shit.
I can do that, and I can have it out for just a moment, but the more it is exposed, the more we are potentially exposed.
Can't you, like, go hide?
I think that if we are prepared to expose the moment and seal this fissure, we must be prepared to move on as soon as possible.
That makes sense.
Less questions to answer.
I'm just kicking at the fire, trying to get it out. 'Cause I got
So
nothing
we'll
else to
say
do.
probably Nira and Andrea have come up, come up, and they're probably not hearing this because Melicantha is speaking quietly to you, Archie, but they can see that you seem to be listening to something.
What are you doing? Can you close it or what?
The moment is not on this plane. We need to expose it to be able to close it.
Why are we announcing this?
You asked.
Asked exactly.
You literally walked up and asked a question that he answered for.
Why did you ask?
No, but
So, do we have something that we can protect ourselves within? Like, I have Wall of Thorns that I could cast that we could surround ourselves with before she exposes the stolen moment. Do we have anything else?
One thing I should clarify is that you can't talk in your water elemental form.
Shit, I'm a water elemental. They don't have mouths.
Technically, you can speak Aquan, which is a dialect of Primordial, but nobody else can speak that. So.
It's not related to Kuatoan at all.
Right. No, I don't think we will be traced that quickly. We'll just need
Melicant
to
says
leave this
it's
area
not a matter
quickly.
of being immediately attacked.
Thereafter.
It's a matter of being trackable.
hurry up,
But-
let's get this done.
Yeah, I think we need to charge it and we need to close this, so it's worth the risk.
Okay. As Melicant says, very well, but as you know, I'm going to say everyone's kind of been hearing it the last little bit, but as Melicant, you hear her sort of rustling with something. Andri says, "Wait." You look. Everyone looks to her, and she seems really kind of very stressed, and she just says, I heard you talking about needing to move on, and I don't think I can go with you."
No?
You want to go home?
I know you guys are doing all of this important stuff. You're trying to save the whole world and the whole universe. It's so big. I can't. I don't want to be selfish, but you're talking about changing the past, and I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not saying I'll never come back, but I need to see my daughter before I can make that decision.
It's a good thought.
So I can't talk, but I kind of swish my way around and just kind of am near her supportively in a water form, if that's possible.
She kind of looks up at you a little bit wary, but sort of, appreciative of the thought, even though you look weird right now.
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, being with us was always your choice, Andrew. We're not going to make you stay.
Certainly not.
I still believe in you guys. I know you're trying to do the right thing, and I need some time to think about it. Don't forget about me. Check in on me at some point, because if nothing else, I want to know how it's going.
I think we can do that.
You're
Certainly.
hearing some activity around, from soldiers who are maybe nearing this direction. And she just says, "So, I guess I'll be going.
Stay safe.
You too. You too, all of you. May the spirits bless you."
If we cross paths again, I'll buy the first round.
I'll hold you to that.
I expect to.
I'm gonna just back to roleplay mode here, and Melicanth kind of watches her go and just says, I'm sorry, but we do need to move.
Yeah.
All right. So
Let's get this
you
done.
see her kind of shifting around, or you don't see, you hear her shifting with something like in her robes, and then a little opening in space just sort of opens. It's almost like if you were holding a little chest and you opened it and you could see inside, except you don't see anything on the outside of it. But what emerges is the stolen moment, and it's glowing far brighter than you can remember ever seeing it, except for the time just shortly before it blew up back in that temple. It's glowing a lot, but it's now exposed, and she says, "Now, do it now." And you touch the fissure, and you feel its energy channeled through this fragment, and you see the stolen moment flare with light. But then, Archie, suddenly you briefly feel your mind elsewhere, and you see what looks like a sunrise, except that there are two suns, and the clouds above these two rising suns make them look a little bit like eyes, and you hear a voice say, "There you are." And then you're back on the roof, and all of you now sort of suddenly realize that the sun's in your eyes a little bit. But as you kind of look around to try to shade your eyes, it feels like no matter where you look, sunlight is reflecting off something to shine in your eyes.
All right. Now I gotta put that thing away before you blind me.
Can we get out of here now?
Yeah.
Yes, I have prepared a teleport spell.
This ought to be fun.
And you see the stolen moment sort of disappear into the invisibility again. You will all need to be willing to be transported with my spell.
I move over towards her. I'm staying in water form for now, though.
Okay. So these fires are still sort of flickering. Did you want to put
The
those
one-
out before you go?
Oh, the ones where we're at?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Up right on
The
the building
roof.
that were around where the fissure
The
was.
roof is on fire.
Now, I mean, if you're all kind of climbing up onto the roof to be where Alaric and Melicanth, or Alaric and Archie and Melicanth were, you can all kind of climb up there and you just sort of put out.
Yeah,
your
I'm going to
fires.
rush to do it, but I don't want to slow us departing.
All right. Melicanth just says, "All right. I'm taking us somewhere that I believe we can be safe temporarily, but first, let me do this. I'm going to cast a spell on each of you in turn. It is a non-detection spell. It will protect you from divination magics for 8 hours. And you each sort of in sequence out of nowhere. Actually, as she casts the spell, you see her invisibility shimmer a little bit. Like, it doesn't completely disappear, but each of you sort of feel a magical energy wave over you. It says, so that they can't track us through our teleportation. But I can't do that forever. And so now, are we all ready?
Yeah.
No better time.
She definitely knows where we are.
Ooh.
Melicanth just says, wait, what?
On the other side. I saw Solomania, or I should say she saw me.
Yes, we'll need to talk about that. Everyone prepare yourselves. And you
Oh.
you feel sort of everything around you starts to get sort of like starts to dissolve a little bit, like it's melting away, and everything's just sort of melting away into a void, and then you sort of feel a strange lurch, like the roof under you has just shifted, and then building itself back up, almost like a melting candle in reverse. You suddenly see yourselves surrounded by, a completely different landscape. Around you, you see to one side, plains of, golden grass, and to the other side, mountains. And beneath you is a platform with an arcane symbol on it. And as it sort of solidifies, you realize you have now arrived in this new location. And as soon as the spell sort of completes, I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw.
Crap.
And you get a +4, so I'm guessing everybody's near me within 30 feet.
You're all very closely clustered together.
Plus
I
4
got
on top of
12.
everything else.
So yeah, everyone.
Yeah, my aura does all saving throws.
It's all broken up there. Monarchy
So-
voice is all broken up.
Yeah.
Oh no.
19 then.
26.
All right. So, I didn't hear what amethyst was.
I was just still looking up the dexterity for water elementals. Okay, so
it's
let's
a plus
do.
2,
So,
yeah.
and what was your bonus, Archie?
4.
+4.
Okay, so 14.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, what happens is this: that you realize that you've arrived in this new location, but then all light just around you just sort of like winks out, and you feel that the ground underneath you has just essentially vanished, and you're falling. Alaric, you manage to land on your feet. Everyone else, you fall about 10 feet. Nobody takes any damage, but you sort of land on your butts in a sort of a strange cushioned little chamber, and it's completely dark in here, just like, total darkness. Those of you with dark vision can see just the shape of the room, but there's nothing in it except you, and you hear Melicanth immediately. Nero would recognize that Melicanth has just launched into a string of curses, just curse words, just in a very irritated tone. She seems not scared, but extremely annoyed.
I'm guessing that didn't go as you planned.
She kind of lets out a few more choice words and just says, "Frank, damn it!" And then all of a sudden, you all hear a voice say, "Oh well, howdy there, Melicanth. Looks like that old trap glyph of Daddy's is just as stubborn as he was, huh?"
Who the hell was that?
And Melicanth just says, "It's who I've brought us here to see. His daughter of an acquaintance of mine." And I'm incidentally going to switch our ambiance now from Winter Woods to windswept plains. Yeah.
So where are we? Besides an oubliette?
Yeah, just you hear that voice just again. It's like just you sit tight. I'll be there to let you out in just a tick. And there in the darkness, Melicanth just says, "You all wouldn't have known him well, but you may recall that when you traveled back to the time that we used the stolen moment, there was a dragonborn with me. He was a member of our party. His name was Rake. And in the years since, he had a daughter. He moved to the Western Peninsula, and his daughter has grown up to be an enchanter of great renown. And I believe that not only will she be able to assist us in hiding in the short term, but I believe she will help us to craft the amulets from the flail snail shell that we discussed that may hide us from the Fey Queen's magics. So, to answer where, I don't know if any of you have ever traveled to the Western Peninsula before. That is the Golden Plains. And
Wait, is this like the other side of the continent?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In fact, I will actually bring up that map real quick just to, so that you guys can, I'll show everybody and everybody, at home. So, I'm adding. Where is this? Okay. So, briefly showing everyone here.
Ooh.
This is the continent map, which we have not used recently because, whoops, that's not what I meant to do. That's the Villanocta map, and it's doing bad things. Why is it doing that? There we go. Why? It's changed the type of. That's frustrating. The controls for this this type of display is different than what it used to be. Okay. Anyway, I think everyone can see it. This you guys had all been over here, but she has now transported you onto the Golden Plains, which is on the western side of the continent. You wouldn't know exactly where unless any of you were familiar with that region. Probably not.
It's fast, but I think I prefer trains.
She just says, yes, well, trains, you can follow the tracks.
So I'm being attacked by a giant cursor.
Oh.
It's the beard.
Yeah. So you guys recognize that you're all kind of, you're sort of sitting on, like, some sort of a padded surface. Like it's been, it was clearly intended not to, damage. Like, it was a pretty clever trap in terms of sealing you in, but the padding seems to suggest that you wouldn't, there was not supposed to hurt anyone. And so, Melicanth just says, yes, so I do hope that, Kara will be able to help us. She runs not only her own enchanting business, but a shop where she sells a great many magical weapons and armor, and hopefully we can stock up on some of the trappings of the old days. I know that there are a number of the items that our party once held that made their way into her collection, and hopefully she'll be able to help us.
How much does she know?
That's hard to say. Her father, Rake, was not a very talkative. He was dragonborn, not a very talkative fellow. He taciturn, you might say. And when he left Vela, where Villanocta was, when he left, it was after the war. It was after everything with Talia. I think he suspected, and it was his nature to not judge. I didn't get the sense that he was leaving out of anger so much as just the sense that his time in my company had ended. We stayed in touch. That's how I know where he ended up. That's how I know his daughter, but he died 15 years ago, and I have not been back. I was notified of his passing, but I couldn't bring myself to come.
So, more people that potentially don't like you. Great.
I hope that the last time I spoke with Kara, she was friendly. I mean, she doesn't know the whole story. She doesn't dislike me, I don't think. I've always been quite fond of her. But it has been a while.
I just don't want to accidentally say something she probably shouldn't know, or give away or involve her in ways that she shouldn't be involved.
It's complicated.
Of course it is.
She has her own son now, so she may feel as her friend Andri did if she were to know everything.
Yeah.
I sympathize with your how she felt, and that she seemed to take it all in stride better than Talia did. It's a difficult prospect, the thought that we would change all this, but to save the universe, I think, must still be the priority, whatever other sacrifices must be made. And at about this point, the the fact that this ambiance had a horse kind of approaching just now is a coincidence. But at that about that time, you all feel yourself start to lift up off of this padding, and you sort of rise into the air and phase right through what seemed like a solid ceiling back into the open air. And now you're all just kind of sitting on this platform with the arcane symbols where you first appeared, and you see to one side you see where was it? It's a blue dragonborn woman wearing sort of like a leather vest and sort of a really like a pretty sharp, stylish hat with a great big red feather sticking out of it, and she just kind of grins with lots of teeth. It's like, well, now, Malakanth, it's been a while, hasn't it? Malakanth just says, yes, I'm sorry I didn't come after Rake. And she just says, oh, don't you worry about that. Are you you need some place to stay? You guys are going to stay at my house.
That's
You hear
generous.
that? So, you all friends of Malakanth? What'd you do to deserve that, huh?
I'm still asking myself that question.
Well, come on then. And she's on a horse, but she's just essentially turns and starts riding the horse in the other direction, but beckons as though you should just follow.
Oh, we left all our horses behind, didn't we?
I never really liked that thing anyway. Amethyst, you might want to grow feet again. This tower of water is getting a little bit nerve-wracking.
Well, and for that matter,
It only lasts an hour.
This Dragonborn did not even bat an eye.
Did Amethyst just shrug at me?
Yeah, I'm at the shrug at you. It's not an hour, but I can't. It's like, I don't know if we're gonna rest before some crazy shit goes down again.
I mean, you only need a short rest to recharge wild shape. But anyway,
Yeah, I'll grow legs. I'm making the dwarf uncomfortable.
All right, so reverting to your human form then.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just left all that water behind, we're...
I'm not saying-
Malakanth actually does just kind of say, I didn't know you could become an elemental.
Neither did I.
What else
So
can you
it's
become?
new then.
Very. I love it though.
That's exciting. She's kind of she looks, this is one of the first times you've seen Malakanth look awkward. she's been irritated, angry, frustrated, stressed, tired, but now you see her just kind of smooth her robes, just like walking along along this sort of dirt trail through these plains of tall yellow grass, and she just kind of looking ahead at this dragonborn on the horse, and just she looks nervous, like she's not quite sure what to expect. She's uncomfortable.
Nice.
Love small talk.
Been a while since she's been out in the world.
Right.
So the Kara, who actually turns her head back over her shoulder as just to make sure you guys are following, and just says, did Melicanth tell you where she's bringing you before she brought you here?
Nope.
It was kind of a quick situation.
Well,
we were in a hurry.
I don't know if she expected there to be that trap, but Melicanth, don't you worry about that. That was just Daddy's way of punishing you for taking so long to come visit. And Melicanth just says, "Yes, it was very funny."
Was kind of funny, actually.
But so you realize as you're sort of passing out of this field where this teleportation circle was, that on the distance, in the distance, kind of off to your right, you can see what looks to be a town of perhaps medium size, as far as you can tell from this direction or from this distance. But she's actually leading you the other way, where you can see that there's a little cottage, with a sort of a fenced garden around it, that she's leading you over to there. And as she gets you up to that house, it's like a 5-minute easy walk. It's not too far, and she dismounts, and the horse just disappears as soon as she gets off of it.
Whoa.
And then she walks over to the door and just says, "Come on in, then."
Yeah, that'd make it a lot easier to
Oh, I want one of those.
It's kind of like your horse.
Oh, well, if you guys
Odyssey.
are in the market, I've got all sorts of neat little toys I can show you.
That would be fabulous.
Oh.
Well, come on in then.
Oh, yeah.
And so as you enter, what you saw from the outside that it was just sort of a small little cottage. And as you enter, it is a small little cottage, but you see also that there is a door on the far side that's a doorway with no door in it. And just glancing through that doorway, you see what looks like a huge, almost like a warehouse. That was definitely not visible from the outside.
Huh.
And,
So many new toys!
Yeah, and then so she, but this is it's a rustic little cottage where she just kind of, takes off her vest, tosses it down, and puts on like a little sort of silk shirt over it, and just bustles over to like a little, cast iron stove, and just says, "You guys like tea? You want some tea?"
Oh, tea would be lovely. I still got a little
Yes.
taste of burnt demon in my mouth, so,
You wouldn't have anything stronger.
Oh, well, maybe a little later in the evening I'll join you on that. How about that?
That seems fair.
All right. So, Melicanth, what in the world do you want? And Melicanth just says, "Well, Kara," and the Dragonborn stops as well. I'm actually going by Carrot now. Carrot? Yeah, like the shop, Carrot and Stick. Okay. Well, Carrot, we are in trouble, and you know that I would not come here and call upon your aid were it not dire. And so I have a request that We have a flail snail shell, and we have need of your talents to make from it charms that will protect us from the divination of fey magics. And I had hoped that some of the treasures from the old days might still be in your possession. And Carrot says, "Oh, well, yeah, I can do that. You know, flail snail shell's good, all sorts of things. You can make a robe scintillating colors with one of those. You can make some spell guard shields are good. A little charm like that, I think we could probably, what, for all of you, or just one, or what are you thinking?" "Well, one for each of us if possible, but most specifically for these three." And she points at Nira, Amethyst, and Archie.
Well, can we get a fourth one for Mugen?
Well, yes. I mean, if we can make as many as we want, I don't know how many we can make. And Carrot says, "Oh yeah, you know, it's no problem. We can, big flail snail shell. It's a full-grown one, big one."
It was pretty big.
Don't know the
Yeah.
range, but it seemed big.
Well, you know, we're only going to need like a little bit, maybe the size of your hand,
Oh,
to
yeah.
make one of these
Yeah.
charms.
Oh,
Well, in that case, let's get one for Alaric and Andry too.
Okay, sure. We can do that. And yeah, I got a bunch of this stuff from the old days. Let me dig some of this up. And she walks through that doorway and then comes through almost right away, like she just in and out. But now she's holding like a big chest, and she kind of just thunk opens it up. It's like, let's see what we got in here. Let's see. Oh, we got that Call's feather token for you. That's pretty good, right? You know, someone's a great big old bird. You can fly it around. And she's, setting stuff on the table. Got a necklace of fireballs. It's still got like four on it. Oh, the portable hole. That's a fun one, right? Oh, let's
Oh
see.
my
We got
gosh.
that cloak of elven kind. She holds it up, and
is like-
this cloak, and she's holding it up, and as she holds it, you can see it sort of like blends to camouflage a little bit.
Oh my
That's
God.
pretty fun, right?
This is like that scene in Labyrinth where she's like piling up stuff.
Yeah.
that's
Let's see
true.
what
Yeah.
else we got in here. The gloves of missile snaring that your monk friend used to enjoy. Yeah. And you can see out of this chest, she just pulls like this whole big javelin that's obviously too big to fit in that chest normally. But yeah, this is the javelin of lightning. Yeah, that's
Ooh.
right. And let's see, we
Kirby
got
hands.
okay. Slippers of spider climbing, the oath bow.
Would make slippers.
Oh,
Mine like spiders.
this is
Why
an old,
wouldn't you?
what? Oh, there's a spider climbing that lets you walk up on the walls and ceiling and stuff. And
No,
this is an oldie but
fashion.
goodie of yours, Melicanth. You remember this? And she holds up a big thick book, a tome of clear thought. You know, it's just about at its. You know what? I bet you that it's the magic's charged up again. Could be used again. Yep. And sets it all down. So yeah, I mean that's what I got from the old days. But of course, got all sorts of stuff at the shop still. And Melicanth just says, I can't tell you how much this means. It's the difference between life and death for an untold number. It means a lot. She says, yeah, well, it means about 16,750 gold pieces. So if you have that, then we're all set.
Ooh.
Malakath says, I had thought that I could.
You thought she was just gonna give it to
Call
us
up-
for free?
I had thought that I could call upon the history of my relationship with your father, my friendship with him, and the many adventures we had together, and the importance of it. And Carrot kind of gets a faraway look and sort of a wistful smile. You know, Melicanth, my daddy always did like you, and I liked when you came around. You were so, you're so smooth. Like you just look like you're made out of glass or something. But my daddy told me that one day you might come a calling and that you would be in dire need. And you know what he told me? He said, on that day, Kara, you make sure she pays cash. So I'd love to help you, but I do run a business here, Melicant, and I love all of you. Look like lovely people. I'm sure you could make excellent use of these things. So, do you have the gold, or I accept gems as well.
Let's start with how much it costs to make those amulets
Yeah.
from that shell.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Well, sure, no problem, no problem. Let's see. Can I see the shell?
What happened to the shell, Melicant?
Melicant is just. Oh, yes.
Took it out of the bag, right?
Yeah, she took it
Yeah,
out, and it
but-
was in the mansion, and so she
Yeah.
says, "Just a moment, I have to resummon the mansion."
It's
It's
rich people problem.
And then Kara says, "Oh, please don't do that in here. All sorts of security spells, you understand, conflict. You can do it outside if you want." Melicant's just okay. She looks kind of a little bit offended to be asked to go take that outside. But she does, and you hear sort of like a thunk, and she calls through the door. Does someone want to carry this?
Oh hell. Yeah. Otter, you were probably both going to be.
Come out.
I seem to recall the damn thing was heavy.
Head out, pick it up.
All right. Yeah. And Carrot just like, wow, that's a good one. That's a nice one there. Yeah. Okay. Well, no problem. You know what? I'll tell you what. We can make the charms. What you wanted? What you? How many? You said 5. 5 for the 5 of you. But then there was some other fellow you were talking about. Someone named Andrew.
Yeah. So us and Andrea and Mugen, that's right, guys? Because if Mugen comes back, Mugen will also need the protection.
One
They
from
might try to
Malachant too. I mean, that's what 6.
Yeah, they might try to
Yeah.
use Andrea as bait, so I think that's 7 total, isn't it?
Well, I'm looking
sense.
at, Alaric and Archie and Nera and Amethyst. Oh, sorry, I know you didn't tell me your names. I always mean to ask, but because I just know them, I forget sometimes. So please pardon my manners. So it's the 4 of you, and then Malakanth, and then Andrew and this Mugen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
7.
Okay, 7. Yeah, that's right. Counting is, I have spells for that. Anyway, it's 7. Well, a big shell like that one. Well, let's see. We could get those 7 charms. Well, let's see. I'll tell you what. There's a bunch of that shell that's going to be left over.
There's a whole lot going to be left over.
Yeah, and so I would say, if I get to keep the rest of the shell, I'll make you those charms for let's say 150 gold if I keep the rest of the shell. Now, if you want me to make a robe or the spell guard shield for you, I can do that too. But it's going to run you like 1,000 gold pieces for the charms and the robe or the shield.
Well, see, it seems like this shell is a pretty rare material.
Yeah, I think
and
it's worth
pretty
a lot
valuable on its
more.
own.
Well, yeah, that's why it's such a discount if I get to keep the rest of the shell.
So, how much would it be if you didn't keep the shell?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you want me to make something for you with the rest of the shell, the price is, it's for the charms and the service of the making the other item, whatever you want it to be. And so that would be 1,000 gold pieces. If I get to keep the excess materials, just 150. Is that what I said? I think so.
What do you think, guys?
Can I rely upon my previous trader knowledge to have any idea whether I'm getting swindled here?
Make an intelligence with proficiency check.
Okay.
All that says throw in a gallon jug of moonshine and you got a deal.
What was the roll? 4. You
Sounds good to me.
You haven't dealt in these sorts of magical items like this. This is pretty specialized field, so hard to say. Melicanth, I think, is still just a little bit just like, I think it would be best not to tell you too much just for your own protection, but this is the fate of worlds hang in the balance here. This is of utmost importance that we are able to continue on our quest, and we could use a lot of these tools to help us. And Carrot says, well, it sounds like it's a buyer's market then, huh?
Let's just take the deal. I don't think we're going to get a better one, and we need this. She's right. We don't really have much to bargain with.
How much for the hole?
The portable hole?
Yeah.
Well, that's a very powerful item. That's going to be 3,000 gold pieces all by itself.
That's what I figured.
It's really neat, though, isn't it? You know, I don't know if you've seen one of these things in action. You unfold it, makes a 6-foot hole in anything you can hide in there. You can put all sorts of stuff in there. Then you fold it up, put it in your pocket. Oh, I see you got that bag of holding there. Be careful, you do not want to put in one of these things in the other. You will not be happy with the results.
You're killing me, Christiana.
This is great. I love her voices.
Now, you know, if you guys are finding yourselves a little bit light in the wallets, I do have some more common items that you might find interesting. For example, check this out. And she reaches into this same trunk and pulls out just kind of a cape and sort of fixes it around her neck. And then just stands there, and the cape just billows behind her very dramatically. She says, this here is a cloak of billowing. You can make it do that all day.
Mugen would have loved that.
Yeah, I'd let you have that just for 10 gold pieces. We're a little fancier. We got this cloak of many fashions. Check this out. She pulls this cloak with a hood on, and it's sort of this vibrant blue with gold trim. And then as she kind of concentrates, it becomes this very light red silk. And then it becomes this sort of flowing white lace. And then it becomes sort of like a heavy brown burlap sort of material. So you can make this cloak look like anything you want as long as it's a cloak. That one's going to be 50 gold pieces. Oh, this is in one of my off things. You know, like this didn't turn out quite like I wanted, but it's still kind of neat. Is I call it the hat of vermin. You watch this, and she holds out up this little hat and she says, "All right, go on now." And a frog jumps out of it and then immediately just kind of like hops out the open doorway. She says, "Yeah, you know, you just do that a couple times a day. A little thing like sometimes a rat, sometimes a frog." Comes out of the hat, tries to get away. That's all that happens as far as I can tell, but it's still kind of neat. Could be a distraction.
What do you have? My armor has recently taken a beating, so I was just wondering what you might have.
Yeah, what was that? Some kind of slimy thing or acid, maybe?
Yeah, a bit of acid. So, sort of in the market for a replacement. Would you have anything?
Well, are you looking for magical or enchanted armor? Because that's kind of what I do. If you're looking just for another chain shirt, you might be better off going to a regular blacksmith for that.
Well, what do you have in the way of enchanted armor?
Well, you know, I've got some that are just, you know, enchanted for a little bit of, you know, extra protection, and then of course there's all sorts of fancy enchantments you can get on there. Let's see. You know, we got let's see. You know, if you're going a little fancier, you can get some adamantine armor. That means no critical hits against you. You know, if you're just concerned about how it looks, you know, it can put a nice little gleaming charm on there and makes it just never get dirty. But what sort of bonus were you looking for? I could rattle off charms all day.
Trying to think what I get hit with it most. There's so many to choose from. What do you have in the way of protection against grappling?
Oh, yeah,
something slippery, maybe.
Slippery. Well, let's see here.
You can always get you a pot of grease.
Well, yeah, but that requires maintenance, and I'd rather not walk around smelling like grease all day.
Well, that part I can take care of.
You know, I don't know that I have anything already prepared that's going to be a benefit against grappling specifically, but it's not too hard. I could probably make something up for that.
All right. And how much would something like that cost?
I think I would probably run you about if you bring me the armor piece, I could put that charm on it for about 400 gold, I think.
All right.
Besides this javelin, do you have any other weapons?
Oh yeah, we got all sorts. We got all kinds of stuff. Just whatever you could look for. We do pretty good business around these parts. You know, especially now that we got the teleportation circle out there. You know, we get the people who are in the market for our higher end items. Can find us here, even though we're not exactly in the center of the civilization universe. But we do pretty well. We got all sorts of things. We got lots of kinds of weapons. Incidentally, just by the way, while all this is happening, Melicanth is kind of just, she's taken a seat on the floor near some of those items taken out of the chest, and she's just kind of looking over them wistfully. But yeah, so are you looking for like what? I know lots of dwarfs like some battle axes.
No, I have got a decent enough axe, but I really need things that are smaller. Daggers or something light, something that I can handle one-handed.
Well, are you looking for a dagger or maybe like a rapier or something?
Well, I've never used rapier, but I could try it. Dagger would be good too. And if it's got a magical enchantment of some kind, that seems to help.
Well, let's see. Let's see what I got. Let's see. This is a pretty. So this is a rapier that's. Yeah. I'm trying to gauge your price range here. It seemed like you got a little spooked with some of the more rare items. What sort of budget are you guys looking for here?
Unfortunately, I'm a little low on funds at the moment. I don't think I'm anywhere near where I could get more.
At this point, you hear some activity at the doorway, and through it come another two dragonborn. One is a gold dragonborn who is looks of a similar age to Carrot, and with her is a younger, also gold dragonborn. Who comes in with her, and Carrot just says, "Oh, hey, Stick, Dope, come and meet Melicanth and some of her friends. Yeah, these are she old adventuring buddy of Daddy's." And the older female dragonborn kind of comes and sort of folds her arms, looks at you, kind of. Welcome then. And
Didn't catch your name, sorry, and extend my hand.
You can call me Stick.
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 Interesting name.
Yes, my partner in Carrot and I, we took on the nicknames. People decided that that's what our names were anyway. We named the shop Carrot and Stick. She's Carrot already. They call her Carrot. They call me Stick. It's fine. I like it.
And the other one? What's your name?
The younger one is looking a little bit. He's looking a little bit not shy, but like really interested. Like, oh boy, what's going on here? This is unusual. This is weird. And he just kind of holds out a hand and says, "Oh, hi. I'm Drocaro. They call me Doke. I'm this is my my mom's, my mama and Moda." So she kind of, which one of you knew Rake? And Melicanth just kind of looks up and says, "You're so much bigger, Rake. I knew you when you were just a little baby." He says, "Oh, well, yeah, I'm not a baby anymore, as you can see. I'm pretty much ready to go out and venture on my own." And all of a sudden, Carrot and Stick both just kind of turn like a raised eyebrow at him and says, "No, No. um, and so Carrot says, so where were we? We were talking about budget, right? You guys are...
Well, before we do that, I was wondering if you could appraise something for me.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no problem. What is it?
So I'm going to take out the Wand of Wonder that I have.
Oh.
I knew she was going to say something.
I mean, it's the Wand of Wonder.
She basically her eyes just light up when she sees it. It's like, well, isn't that the cutest thing? Look at that. Look at all those little dealy bobs on there.
I throw my hands up in the air and I go
hand it
sit
to
down
her?
next to Malakant. This is crazy. I'm out.
Well, I just picked this up in our adventures, and I was just, wondering if you could ballpark it for me.
Let me do my little thing on it. And she kind of pulls like a little pearl out of her pocket and looks at it almost like it's like a jeweler's loop, but it's a pearl. And she kind of, oh, well, that's a weird one. You can't pick what it does?
No, it's just chance, but so far it's worked out all right.
Well, that's still pretty nifty. I like it. Well, are you looking to part with it? Because if you're looking for store credit, I could give you 500 store credit on this for this. No, you know what? That's unfair. You guys are friends of friends. You know what? I'll give you 1,000 gold store credit on that.
Amethyst will hate me if I do it. She had her eye on that.
And then as he's been kind of watching this, Doak kind of just says, "Hey, they look pretty tough, Mom. Maybe they could help us finish that delivery."
Delivery?
Carrot kind of just goes, "Oh, you guys seemed like you were in a hurry. I didn't want to give you another errand to run, but yeah, well, we had a really, really big order, and we're supposed to deliver a big old brand new wand to stone giants up in the mountains, and I'm a little worried that it's just gonna fall through because I went and made this thing up for them on deposit, and now I can't get in touch with any of them. And the last guy we tried to send up there to get in touch with them, try to see if they still wanted this thing, didn't come back."
Well, that sounds fishery to me.
Well, so, I guess it's true. You guys do look pretty tough. If you're looking to take on some work, this was a big order. And I mean that both financially and literally. And she actually reaches in to this chest again and just sort of heaves and pulls out what looks like basically just like a solid sort of rod of metal that's about 5 feet long and about this big around, like maybe 10 inches in diameter. She lugs it up. Looks like it weighs about 50 pounds. Has a great big button in the middle. It's like, now this is a supersized version of something you might have heard of called an immovable rod. But those stone giants, they want big ones. So there's a big one. It was really expensive. But now, I don't know if anyone's going to pay me for it. You were to deliver it up to them and get the payment for it, I would absolutely give you a big old discount.
Say, what about Malakant's old adventuring treasures there?
Well, that's a lot of gear, but I reckon it does have sentimental value.
I mean, we're talking about
Normally, I
stone
would take
giants here.
advantage of- Wait, no. These is okay. So look, the stone giants are nice. They're my customers. They are not. You're not fighting the stone giants.
Well, you say that, but in our experience, normally friendly folk do not tend to be so friendly.
Sounds like you have Malakant rubbing off on you. If you're Find yourself fighting friendly people?
In the worst possible way.
Well, you know, look, I don't know what's going on up there because, like I said, we haven't been able to get in touch with them lately. You know, they used to have this elevator run you right up to their cliff dwelling, and it's not running no more. And like I said, the last guy I sent up the ramp didn't come back, so I don't know what their deal is up there. So could be dangerous. But so what are you asking here? You want the use of those items, like what, on deposit? Like I'm supposed to just give you those and the extremely valuable item that I want delivered, and then
No.
you what? You just run away with it?
What I'm saying is, what if we deliver this for you? Can we get those on return? Successful delivery.
Well, you know what? Because I like you. Okay. Yeah, all those items I mentioned, you can have that whole batch. Plus, I'll make up those charms for you. You get that now. Bear in mind, you're going to be coming back to me, telling me you've delivered that rod, and you're going to have 18,000 gold for me.
With the payment, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you come back
I mean-
with that money, you know what? I don't care if you deliver it. You come back with 18,000 gold, then you got all that stuff. So whatever you want to do, get this thing out of
and
my
that
chest. You
can-
get that money for me.
That was your agreed upon price with the Giants?
Plus deposit.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what they owe me still.
Is it possible we could get those amulets first?
Oh,
Yeah, that's sort of important. Those we can't really do much without those.
You know, usually I don't work on, credit.
I think we can afford with the.
Right, we can.
Buy those.
Well, okay, yeah, if you can afford just the charms for now.
Right.
You know
You
that
said-
shell is.
Leave me
you
with
know,
that.
worth way more.
I think we can make that work.
Okay.
All right.
You said 150 and the shell, right? The shell remains.
Well, 150 is if I get to keep the rest of the shell. 'Cause,
Right.
There's some
Yeah.
good stuff you can make with a flail snail shell.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what we were told.
If you want, I'm already giving you such a good deal. I just like to see so much fun to make a robe of scintillating colors. I haven't made one of those in forever. Are you
It
guys
sounds
looking for
beautiful.
one? Would you want one of those?
What does it do? Is it just
Oh,
pretty?
Well, it is very pretty. It looks like all the glowing rainbow swirly shapes of the shell, but it also has this magical charm. You can dazzle your enemies with it.
Ooh.
That sounds
Doesn't
useful.
really sound like my style, but that robe you had, or the cloak, the one that could change its form, that one sounded interesting.
Well, there's the one that's the cloak of many fashions, which you can just make look like any other cloak you want. But then the cloak of Elvenkind was in that batch, the batch of the old stuff. That just helps you with stealth.
Yeah. Well, okay. How much is the cloak of elves?
Well, that one, it was part of that whole batch price I gave you, but if you wanted it all on its own, that's going to run you 450 gold.
Right. Oh, it's part of the batch.
It's part of the batch.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll get it. You return with the money.
The
What that
cloak
one
is really
does
tempting.
specifically is give you, the cloak of Elvenkind, what that does specifically is give you advantage on stealth checks.
Yep. Doesn't give me advantage in my bank pocket, though.
Well, we can get that for you when we come back. We're gonna do this, guys.
Yeah.
We're doing this.
Well,
But the cloak of many kinds, that was 50 gold, right?
Oh, yeah. 50 gold for the cloak of many fashions.
Right. I
That
think I
one's
can
just a
take
neat
that.
little trick. I think I sell a lot of those to the townsfolk.
I think I can take one of those now.
Yeah?
That and it was 150 for the amulet, right?
150 is for the set. It's going to take me probably 24 hours or so to make those up for you, though.
Oh, the whole set for 150. Okay.
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're just little things.
All right, so 150 and 50, 200, done. And I'll pay for it.
We have some money, Laura. You don't have to pay for everything.
So,
Well,
from a mechanical perspective, the Cloak of Many Fashions is an actual item that you can add to your character in D&D Beyond. These charms that we're making are, custom, so and you don't have them yet anyway. But she goes ahead and hands you the cloak, and she just says, you just put it on, you put the hood up, and you just imagine what you want it to look like, and it'll change for you.
Thank you. I tried it a couple of times, different kind of one very, very high fashion that no one would ever expect Alaric to wear, and then one that looks like a ratty, tattered, dirt-strewn, torn-up robe.
Yeah.
This will do nice.
Basically, it can look like any kind of cloak. It can't be anything but a cloak, but it can look like any kind of cloak you want.
So just out of curiosity, does the actual fabric change? Like, if you needed like a heavier cloak for like cold weather, would the cloak physically become heavier, or is it just appearance illusion only?
It seems to. The material seems to change.
That's very cool.
Now, she says, as you guys are kind of experimenting with that, she just says, "Now, don't you think though you can't just be making like a steel cloak and think it's going to give you armor though? It's not going to work like that."
I got other tricks for that.
So, you guys are you thinking you want to wait until these charms are ready before you head on out there, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think we're going to need to wait. And, yeah, it's been a day. Let me tell you, it has been a day.
You said there was some place to stay, right?
Oh, yeah. You can stay right here with us. No problem.
I appreciate the...
In the background, kind of behind you, you sort of hear Stick saying, "Doc, no. No, I said no. Do not give me that look."
Okay.
If you turn to look, he's just kind of saying, "Look, do any of you even speak giant?" "Well, do you?"
Well,
No, cannot
no.
say that I do.
No.
I go downward, not upward.
See, they need me. They need a translator. I could do that. And I'm ready.
Do you know the
I
area?
could use a guide as well.
Yeah.
I've been up there tons of times. And Carrot's just like, "Well, now hold on a minute. We don't know what's going on up there. Our last guy didn't come back." I said, "Yeah, and I need to find him. He was my friend. I want to find him. And besides, I'll be with all these guys. It'll be great."
How old is Doc?
So it's harder. You don't know that many
Right.
Dragonborns,
Mhm.
but you would guess from his body language that he is maybe 18.
He's just a baby.
And he
He's a man. He's 18.
turns to you guys and just says, I can do magic. I've got magic. Check this out." And there's sort of a candle, on one of the tables, and he sort of just kind of gestures at it, and the flame first blooms up, and then it the flame sort of turns into like the shape of a shield, and then the shape of a sword, and then the shape of a running person. And then he lets it go back to the normal. And I mean, I can do fighting stuff too. That's what I can do in here without wrecking anything.
Excellent.
Amethyst looks at him and asks how old his friend is that's missing.
How old?
The
is
missing
it?
friend. The person that went before.
Well, that's Deke was he's a half orc. He's I think in his 40s, but he's a good guy. He's worked for us forever. And Carrot just says, "It's not forever. It's just since forever to you is last week is forever." That was Stick, I should say, not Carrot said that. But
I'm happy for him to come with us. I understand wanting to check on his friend, and we could use the help.
Only if your mothers give you permission.
he kind of turns to them and is just like, "Please, I'm ready. I can do this." And Stick just says, "Look, all of you, I don't care about the money part. Let me be clear. If it is too dangerous, you bring him back. You do not keep going and bring him with you into deeper danger. Is this clear?"
Absolutely.
We'll take care of him.
Of course.
And Doak rolls his eyes.
Yeah, of course.
Actually, if I can catch his eye kind of having my face away from them and wink reassuringly to him, as in, yep, I get it, kid.
Yeah.
All right. How about a stealth check for that
okay.
surreptitious wink?
Let's see. 19.
Yeah. Okay. You manage it. Nobody seems to notice. Melicanth kind of looks at the rest of you and says, "Do you need my assistance on this task as well?" She looks a little distracted, like she's kind of been lost in thought.
We should probably talk in private.
Yes, I've already wasted my mansion spell just outside. We could speak there,
Well, it wasn't a waste. Brought that shell out, so.
I suppose.
And it's private. What do you think, folks?
Yeah. Yes.
Excuse
Mary
us
just
for a
kinda
minute.
says, "Well, I know she's got a fancy old mansion, but that's not to my taste. If you guys are looking for a little bit more rustic down home, you're welcome to sleep here with us."
Well, I'll be back.
Thank you.
All right. So you guys go back outside, and you see that this sort of flickering magical doorway that you last saw in your hotel room is now just standing in the middle of the air outside of the little cottage. But otherwise, inside it looks much the same, and so she kind of guides you back in there and closes the door. She's looking a little, withdrawn, like she's still a little distracted, and she just says, "Yes, we need the charms. The non-detection spells I cast on you will last for 8 hours, but with the spell it's only cast on one of you at a time. So to cast it on each of you every 8 hours, I can't sustain that, and plus it costs me 25 gold worth of ruby dust every time." Which, given that we apparently have to be more budget conscious than I had anticipated, I think we need those charms.
Yeah, I didn't want us to say too much in front of them, just in case they find out more than they need to, and that leads them to their own problems.
Yes. I don't know what might be going on with the stone giants. I have visited their dwellings at one point decades ago, but if I have no idea what might be happening there at present. I could scry, but not today. I must rest, I think.
And I'm thinking it's probably better if you stay behind while we go and do this. Like, I don't think it's smart to have us and the stolen moment in the same place at the same time.
I share your feeling on that matter. I didn't necessarily want to be the one to say it, lest you suspect that I was a coward.
There's one problem, though. If you do need it to be exposed to close a rift, and we come across another rift, what do?
I can handle that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Melicanth kind of raises her eyebrow.
Care to share with the class?
Well, I can use a sending spell.
What's that?
Yes, you can yes, if you alert me that
Does
you
that-
need. That is how, of course.
If you're in the mansion, though, will you get the sending spell?
Yes, my mansion is it's customized a bit.
She's got roaming.
Ordinarily, it might not work, but that is, of
Okay.
course, the rifts that you closed before meeting back up with me. I was watching, and so was able to have the stolen moment in a state ready for you to close the fissure. It is more difficult when we have it out and about, and I suspect that any time it is exposed, any time that you seal a fissure, it is going to attract attention.
Well, these charms.
That reminds me, you said you saw Queen Solomonia. What was that about? I forgot all about that when big bloody stupid trap tripped on us.
Well, each time each time I've closed a rift, I seem to get some kind of flash, some kind of vision, but this seemed very specific. And so I saw the figure with the two suns and said, "Oh, there you are."
Yes, well, that does sound bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I remembered she was the whole opposites fairy things.
The Dawn
Yes,
Court, correct?
The Dawn Court
Yeah.
versus the Twilight Court.
So it
Yes.
seemed bad.
Yes, indeed. Well, I hope that this errand of yours, this delivery, will not prove too difficult.
Well, we
Yes.
need the equipment.
Yes.
Or, well,
some of
we
the
She
want
has-
the equipment. Whether we need it?
Um,
some of
your
those
map.
Does
tools.
that mean she might have a piece of the stolen moment? Could she have Mugen,
Who? The Fey Queen?
the Dawn? I mean, how else is she connected to it? She didn't create it.
I thought you said she had your blood.
Yep.
Oh, true.
That would be sufficient for her to track you.
Don't go giving that out. Good rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
learned
won't
that
do
one the
that
hard
again.
way.
Now, we cannot rule out the possibility that Mugen might.
I just, that it triggered with the rift, and the rift's connected to us, to the moment, and the
Well, my
timing's
suspicion
awfully
is that
suspicious.
if she has your blood, she can track you. Does not necessarily mean she knows where the stolen moment is, but the closing of the rift perhaps might have showed her. But with the non-detection spells I cast on you and then teleporting, I believe that we would be safe for the time being unless we attract attention again before we have these charms. But if we can obtain the rest of that equipment, I think that will come in very handy. Some of it was a little bit difficult for me to see. Again, it's been a long time, and some of the friends that last used them are lost now. But
Not
in
forever.
particular, the feather token, she mentioned it summons an enormous bird, a 400-foot wingspan. You can just ride
that's
it
big.
wherever.
What a
Like-
sight.
Oh,
It is truly beautiful. It's not discreet, but it is awe-inspiring.
we could ride on a dragon. I don't know if discreet is in our vocabulary.
Oh, but what a way for me to go home.
The portable hole, I mean, imagine this bag of holding you have. Now imagine that it could hold, just the 6-foot radius, 6-foot diameter by 8 feet deep. Imagine that, all of that space that you could fold up and put in your pocket.
Makes a great hiding place, I think, too.
Indeed. And the javelin of lightning is dramatic. It's essentially
Shocking.
you throw it like a spear or any other javelin, and it acts like a bolt of lightning.
I feel like I need that for reasons.
And the tome
You
of
already
clear
throw
thought.
bolts of lightning. We just want
book.
to point that out.
The book
Yeah,
she
I mean-
mentioned, the tome of clear thought. I had used it previously, and would not therefore benefit from it again. But what it does is, it requires intensive study. You must I think, I'm remembering. I think it's over a period of 6 days. You must spend a number of hours reading it. But if you do, it will literally make you smarter
That never hurts.
permanently. It requires an intensive study period, though.
Is it? But a person can only use it once. Could all of us use it?
Unfortunately, no. Once it has been used by someone, it loses its charge, so to speak, for 100 years. I last used it shortly before delving into the caves beneath Rashama. And as such, it would probably be just about ready for another use.
A long wait.
Does it impact wisdom or intelligence or anything, or is it
Yes, from a
useful some other
mechanical
way?
perspective, if you do the study in the time period, like I can pull it up to tell you the exact numbers, but it will raise your intelligence score by 2.
Ooh.
Who's intelligence based? Anybody?
No one is primarily intelligence based.
I think my spells are intelligence based.
Oh yeah, Alaric's
My
spells
intelligence.
are. Yeah, so if you spend 48 hours over a period of 6 days or fewer, your intelligence score goes up by 2. As does
What's
your
your-
maximum for that score, which would mean theoretically you could get up to 22.
Wow.
But
What's your mod on intelligence?
Me? Plus 2.
Yeah.
That's why I don't cast spells very often. With that, I don't have that many spells.
I mean, it seems like it would give our group the biggest benefit if we gave it to Alaric. And is that a stupid
'cause-
thought?
Well, no, because
Because
my
nobody's agreeing,
magic.
so I wonder if it's a stupid idea.
Well, no, because my magic is wisdom based, so it's not. It wouldn't really.
Well, but what
Mine
it could
too.
also do, for example, is that checks like history and religion and arcana are intelligence based.
Oh yeah,
So-
nature is also
Yeah,
intelligence
and
based.
so you could, if you're proficient in those skills, and you would be the one to be making those sorts of checks, you could potentially improve that.
We can cross that bridge when we come to it. I might be
Right,
dead
we
by
don't
then.
actually have any of this stuff yet.
I was
could
just
be dead by then.
curious.
I can't
was just
read anything,
asking.
man. No, it seems like a good deal, and if you can hide here in Melicanth like you did before, then that's probably a better idea.
I feel like there is additional study to do on the artifact itself too. I'm still a bit perplexed because if the spirit of Lake Elamon was correct, and I have no reason to believe that he was not, if he was correct that a new fissure opens every time you close one, and yet every time you close one, it increases the charge within the stolen moment.
Yeah, that math's weird.
Something, the energy is being drawn from somewhere. Because I had assumed that the energy of the fissure was being sealed once again within the moment, but if another fissure opens,
And what about that other guy who could just cut one open with his
At
hand?
least one opens.
yes, well, that's another new development.
Can he close them too?
I don't know. I don't
Well,
know. Do you suspect that you would be able to open one as he did?
Well,
Not you,
the
but-
spirit of Lake Elamond did. According to the Koatoa, the spirit of Lake Elamond reached through that fissure. Not really sure how that worked.
It could be that because all of the planes are weakened due to the many fissures, that powerful enough spiritual energy, because portals in one plane to another are not unknown phenomenon even before all of this. They were certainly more rare. So it could be that enough spiritual energy would have been sufficient to tear that open. But from what I understand, the nature of the Kuota, it may in fact have been from their end that the fissure was opened.
Speaking of fissures, have we checked the map?
I was gonna say, does the map cover this spot?
So the map that you guys had was an existing map of that region that she enchanted to show the bubbles. So it doesn't show this part of the world.
Wonderful.
The map
She could,
now.
however, make another one to cover this part of the world. But
That
but
might
she
be
would-
something to keep you busy.
yes, I could go into town. The little town on the distance is Ushbithra. It means Oasis of the Plains. It's actually kind of a fascinating place, really. It's a lot more chaotic than, say, Villanocta, but it's full of surprising and interesting people, all sorts of different races that are more common over here. Much more genasi, more tieflings like yourself, Ottergry. More dragonborn, orcs.
Fun.
But maybe we should hold off on that until we have our charms.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
It does sound
I
fascinating,
think that it would be for the best to try to maintain a low profile until then. We can get Carrot started on the charms as soon as possible, and once we have them, then we can proceed to choose our next steps.
All right. So are we detectable while we're in this mansion of yours?
As I said before, both
We still have the
inside
protection.
Yeah, so I have cast the non-detection spell on you that will last for 8 hours, and when it is ready again to expire, I can cast it on all of you again, and then a third time if necessary, while we wait for the charms. But as I said, I can't keep doing that forever. It is a drain on my magical resources.
No, that's what charms are for.
Exactly.
How
So
long
I
did she
believe
say
I
it
can
would
keep
take
us
for
hidden
those?
until then. She said
Couple days.
24 hours is what she said.
So this time tomorrow. What time of day is it anyway?
Well, she kind of,
How many time zones do we cross?
she kind of, she just says, yes, as
I
the
need to set my sundial.
rises in the east and sets in the west, we have moved a great distance west, so it is somewhat earlier in the day than we left, but that would make it still somewhat mid-morning, I would say.
All right.
Well, who wants to go into town?
Yeah, I'd like to check it out actually.
Yeah.
Try the new cloak. Shuffle. That's nice.
Sure.
All right. She says, I think I'll remain here. Seeing some of those old items has brought some memories back that I wish to ponder for a while, if that's all right.
Makes sense. We should tell her to get started on those charms and then head to town, I think.
Very well.
I'm leaving.
All right. As soon as you step out of the door, just like all right in your face, like he was just standing right by the door, is Doak, looking very sort of bright-eyed and eager, and just says, "So, so you're probably from Rushama, right?"
That's very astute of you.
Well, just there's
How
not
did you
that
guess
many
that?
high elves around. A lot of them live in that area. That's just my guess. I've read a lot of books. Obviously, my moms have a lot of fancy magic books and all sorts of knowledge, and so I pick up stuff here and there. I'm a pretty quick study.
Oh, well, I am also an admirer of books.
Wow. Yeah, I thought you might be. You looked a little. I don't know. Fancy's not the right word. Smart.
Well, I try. not always successful with that, but nobody's perfect, right?
So, like, they didn't tell me your names, and I don't have my my mama's little name charm. So, I said I'm Doak. Like I said, everyone calls me Doak. It's Drocaro, really, but Doak. It's like nicknames are good, right? Everyone likes nicknames.
Well, I'm Nira. Nira Kina, but everyone calls me Nira. It's much easier.
Nice to meet you. He shakes your hand pretty vigorously.
And this is Alaric.
Hey, Drakara, was it? Nice to meet you.
Doak. Please call me Doak.
If you insist.
Thanks.
And then our druid, Amethyst.
Amethyst just waves a little
You're a
wave.
druid. Can you like turn into animals and stuff?
After a rest, yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, I can.
She was a water elemental not that long ago. You just missed it.
What? No way. That's awesome.
This is pretty amazing.
It's like a
Odds are
bucket of water
you'll-
without the bucket.
Odds are you'll probably see something like that while we're hanging out. So
I've seen some polymorph and stuff, but that's a little different because, like, if you polymorph someone into like a bird, they're like as dumb as a bird.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, we have Ottercree. You can call him Archie for short.
Hey,
Hello.
hey.
Pleased to
nice,
meet you.
Nice to meet you. And he shakes your hand and just says, so that armor is pretty cool, like, but it's a little piecemeal. You know, there's a good place in town I could show you where they could probably make it look a little nicer for you.
Down.
Actually, we were just thinking about going into town.
Yeah, well, I could show you around. I mean, I'm a local, right? I know all the cool places to go.
Lead on, please. That'd be wonderful.
All right, well, follow
I got this
me
guy in
then.
Villanocta, but I think it's going to be a while before we get back there.
Villanocta, man. You know, are they like as uptight as my mom makes it sound?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, no offense to Milliken, but she's a little bit tightly wound, right?
You think?
She's got a lot on her mind.
Definitely.
Well, you know, the way we do things out west here, you know, it's a little bit, you know, more even keel. You know, we don't have all these rules and walls. You gotta, you know, make sure you tip your hat right to the guy with the patch on his shoulder, or else you get in trouble. Like, who cares, right? I mean, that's why
Yep.
do they do that? It's weird, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Weird. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, okay. So anyway, so do be aware. You know, it's not like a rule or a law, but you got all sorts of people in town. So just, you know, you guys look like you're pretty tough. I'm just letting you know. If you pick a fight with someone, there's going to be lots of people who want to join in. So, you know, even though it's not rules, manners are still good.
Who rules this area anyway?
Well, see, that's the whole thing that's great about it, is there's no one. Everyone just hangs out. We do what we want.
Sounds like heaven.
Doesn't seem to make much sense.
What do you mean?
Somebody's got to rule. I mean, otherwise it just sort of, I don't know, everybody pulls in different directions.
Well,
good
yeah,
action.
so what? Everyone
what
pulls in the
happens
direction
anyways?
they want to go.
But
It's always happening. Sometimes you can't see it. Doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah, you know, like, hey, if we've got a bunch of people here in this little town and someone feels like they want to pull some other way, then they go that way, and that's fine.
but how do you keep organized? Doesn't seem to. It's like you can't build a house by just throwing stones in a pile. You have to make some.
Not all of
edges.
us need houses. Not all of us need castles. Not all of us need everything organized. Some of us choose hermit life, and then for some reason they decide to travel around with a bunch of people and cause a big ruckus instead and not be hermit life anymore. But it's
I
pretty
feel like you're
dreamy.
projecting a little bit. Are you projecting?
Yeah,
think
you know,
there's a story
I'm
to
just
that.
kind of
From
looking at you, kind of
experience.
like, yeah, that seems like there's a kind of a personal story
Kinda
involved in there.
specific.
You got a little bit of baggage
I'm
going
just
on.
saying, without this crew, I'd be in a forest somewhere chilling.
You know, it's in people's best interest to have some organization. I mean, I think balance and everything. You know, that's what I say.
Well, you know, I mean, it's not like there's no organization here, but it's more kind of just self-regulated, right? You know, like there's no one that says you're supposed to do this, you have to do this. But if, you know, people can cooperate to do stuff, that's fine. But, you know, it's like, hey, if a bunch of people want to get together, put up a big building, great. Everyone benefits. That's fine. But if someone says, hey, you know what? I actually don't want to help with this building, and everyone's like, okay, so don't. And then they go and they do whatever they want, and that's fine.
Well, let's go and check this out. I want to see. I'm interested to see the town.
Yeah, and to see if there's any dwarves here at all.
Well, you know, there's a few, you know, travelers. I don't know that there's any, you know, clans that live like in these parts, not nearby anyway. But you know, we get people of all sorts coming through.
Yeah, a lot of us travel, but everyone comes back to the mine eventually.
Yeah. Sounds, like it's good to have a home.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Let's just go.
All right. I think, though, we're going to have the trip to town the next time. We'll
Whoa.
Womp womp. Just kidding.
Dangle the town in front of us and then
There
take
it
it away.
goes.
Well, we've been going for 2 hours. You guys got spoiled with the double-sized episode last time. Well, so just think about it this way. The town will be bigger and more interesting next week.
Yeah.
We're in front of us.
Oh, so now we see why.
Well, so it's like we could definitely we could roll with it, but I think
Yeah.
that's a good place to
Oh,
leave
yeah.
it. You guys have joined the new your travel to a new place, met some new people, got a new plan.
We lost an Andrew.
Yeah.
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 I gotta find a pub that pays a pint for that little pint.
I think Doak says, "Yeah, pub. I know a good one," and that's where we'll, says, "Come along with me."
Yay.
Possibly no good pub.
All right, so I think we will leave it there. So we had lots of people in the chat tonight, including a couple of people who I think said it was their first time watching live. So welcome, and so thank you everybody for listening in or watching, and we'll be back for more adventure on so many
Levels.